Play Me I'm Yours is a public art and performance project by Luke Jerram, who's an artist from the UK.
Well, the story goes he was sitting in a laundromat in his native town of Bristol and wondering or contemplating why people don't really speak to each other in laundromats.
He thought he would do it once, and what we are 8 years on, we've done 42 cities, from China to Chile to Melbourne.
Well, Play Me I'm Yours, I mean, in its inception is very simple. You take a bunch of pianos, get them decorated by community groups and put them out in public places.
I think the wonderful thing about Play Me I'm Yours is that it's a truly interactive work of art. From the decorating of the pianos to them being out on the streets and the stewards and the buddies that look after the pianos. So there's lots of people that are involved in the process.
Well, the pianos had to come from somewhere. So we did it very early on in the project. We went out with a donor call and asked if people had some old pianos, would they consider donating it?
And I just remember thinking, oh, that's something I could do. I've got this beautiful piano and unfortunately no one plays it, and I just thought it was a really good project.
So one of the incentives for them was in fact that their pianos would have a life. And we explained quite carefully that it would be used for the duration of the project, but then donated to the community groups that decorated them.
As I saw it being loaded into the truck, I felt a little pang. I just thought, it's my piano. But it's going to a good cause, and I was happy. This was something that I was giving that was from me, but I just feel it could make a difference.
At the beginning of the project, we worked with over 20 different groups who decorated and painted the pianos. The result was that the pianos were all completely different. What we tried to do at Art Centre Melbourne was to connect with particular community groups, social organisations, schools, to get them more involved in the project.
The whole concept, I think, is pretty amazing, and it's so engaging the community at multiple levels. It was really appealing to me, and the opportunity to offer the experience of getting a piano and letting our young people loose on it, letting them be creative and express themselves, for that to then go out into the community and for their art to be on show, something for them to be proud of.
It just changed my whole, perception and way of how to deal with art, where art is out on the streets and it's calling out public to come see it.
It's not sacrilege to do something else with an old piano. It gives it new life.
In the end, it gets gifted back to the people who painted them, so I just think it's a really cool idea, and it's so giving and so just involving, engaging the community.
Well, we decided to have an opening night performance to kick off the project. The pianos had all been painted, but no one had seen them all together, and they were about to be distributed far and wide around Melbourne. So we thought, well, let's have an event where all the pianos are together and people can see them for the very first time.
As a pianist, normally you would only play by yourself.
It makes me feel happy because not many people get to do this type of stuff.
We were on the tram heading home and thought, no, we'll get off the tram and we'll go and have a look and see what's going on.
I thought what was interesting was the demographics. Really lots of many older people, lots of young people, so it had a real community feel about it.
Once you got out there on the lawn, it was actually the audience that you felt were as much as part of the ensemble as everyone else.
They even started talking to me during the performance and saying, oh, this bit's fun, isn't it, or something, and so I was trying to answer them and count me bars at the same time.
It felt pretty good, and especially when the people that donated came by and said that we did a great job on it. I felt pretty proud and that I did them justice for donating it.
We were able to sit right next to the piano that I'd actually donated. I just can't describe it. It's just wonderful. I didn't realise what a big project it was, and to be part of it, it's just fantastic.
You can see smiles all over. That just says it, that how people are connecting.
It's exhilarating, it was colourful, it was vibrant, and I think it attacked all of your senses at once.
A taxi driver pulled up and ran out of his cab and came and started playing Rachmaninoff on the piano. That was the moment when I thought, yes, it's got to work.
The amount of crowd, everyone was, I felt like a little superstar.
More spontaneous live music around the city is definitely a good thing.
It's really communal, nice that people can just show what they can do to anyone.
So this is having a jam with everyone, like with Melbourne.
People end up meeting each other, just everything, like music like gets people together.
This project just went off on social media. To be honest, we haven't really seen anything quite like it in terms of audience response before. And this whole project from the get-go, it was just a gift to the city, and it was subsequently a gift to work on. We were thrilled to be able to share content, find our little discoveries, people who, were doing really interesting things and taking this project to the next level.
The first one I came across was the one at Flinders Street. And I saw it, I was like, random piano, cool. It says play me. Okay, I'll sit down and play. Came across a few others and decided, you know what, we're just going to do all 24.
So we just went out that weekend with the guys and a camera and just went to as many pianos as we could because we knew they were everywhere, and just filmed a whole heap of songs.
And I thought, this is actually a pretty interesting time-lapse project. I got to photograph a lot of different pianos in a lot of different places, but I got to meet a lot of different people whom I normally wouldn't talk to. So that was a really cool thing about it.
We felt it was important to connect with some outer metro regions as part of this project. We approached several organisations in Altona and in Dandenong and in Coburg. And also we worked with the Dig Deep crew on the Cypher remix, and they went out and did performances out there as well.
Sometimes arts venues can be impenetrable places where people don't feel welcome or it's too expensive, or so I think when art jumps out into the streets, it's just for me really exciting, because I think it's something that it's just something that should be available and accessible. And I've been walking around and I never see these pianos empty. It adds to the vitality and the vibrancy of the city.
Whenever I pass to the coffee shop, I just make my order and then come here, play for maybe 5 minutes. It's a magnet. Sort of the criteria of successful public space is whether or not you can make people come to that place and then just to see it congregate or even just watch people passing by. It's kind of encourage that social interaction, so yeah, it can't be a bad thing.
The project, as we know, was very much supported by Betty Amston. It's part of the Betty Amston participation program. Her generosity in giving the money to allow these sort of projects to happen is fantastic.
I wanted to see people get together. I wanted people to contact with one another. I wanted people to talk to one another instead of playing with all these mechanical things that they have. I wanted them to join in and feel part of a lovely program. The joy of giving is absolutely unbelievable, and the return you get from it is untold. I'm talking the honest feeling of caring for another person to give joy to them. And if you're in a position to do that, I think, yes, it's wonderful.
Obviously her generosity has made it possible to not only think about doing one project and one project on a large scale, but to be able to plan for an ongoing engagement and an ongoing story, so that it's not a peak that then just dies away and there's no funds to continue that work.
The Arts Centre is such an amazing venue. It's very formal and it almost has this elitist feel to it. I think for the young people to actually be in there, in the venues, a part of the Arts Centre's project, it sort of really broke down that barrier for them to feel free to go there and feel more comfortable there than they would have been before.
It's those kind of equalising of class and race and age that only a musical project like this can really achieve.
It's easy for me to say this is what people want, but the proof was that people adored this project and hundreds of thousands of people enjoyed it and interacted with it on varying degrees, from a quick stop and a look through to really profound and deep exchanges happening. And I think a lot of the feedback even that came in was a sense of community, which I think is all that we want. We all want to feel connected.